wish all the participants all the best. I know all of you will give your best account. Everybody has been waiting for this much awaited exhibition debate for quite some days. And finally, braving all the odds and ends, we have been successful to come in front of you all. Already the world is going through a terrible crisis, as you know. And along with that, we have a lot of connectivity issues, and for that we had to postpone it. But then whatever it is, we are right now in front of you, we're ready with the debate. So I formally begin. A very good morning to our respected Chairman, Sir, Shri Kishore Kumar Kejriwal ji, our CEO, Sir, Partho Sarathy Chakraborty, our respected Headmistress, Ma'am, Mrs. Malika Mukherjee, the entire team MCKV, MCKV Group, and the distinguished audience. I'm extremely glad and exhilarated to inform that the English department of MC Kejriwal Vidyapith invites you all to a much awaited exhibition debate. The motion for today's debate is, this House believes that social media should be banned during a pandemic. I repeat, social media should be banned during a pandemic. You all will agree that it is really a pertinent topic in today's world. It's a very, very pertinent topic in today's world. And the debate is one of its kind, where both the teachers and the students of MCKV are going to come together and debate on the topic. And I'm very, very happy to announce the names of the speakers. For the motions, we have Kritika Dasgupta ma'am, Ishani Sengupta ma'am, Aditya Pandey of class 12A, and Pratik Jhunjhunwala of 12D. Welcome to all of you and all the best. Against the motions, we have Ankita Singh ma'am, Shanghamitra Pal ma'am, Ansh Arora of 12B, and Chandrabhushan Ray of 12C. Now, before we start, let me just acquaint the participants and our wonderful audience with the rules. First of all, let me tell you about the timing. Each speaker will get a total of 4 minutes of time. The first bell will go off after the third minute is over, and the final bell will be at the end of the fourth minute. And I'm very happy to announce that we have Shubheta Chatterjee ma'am with us to be vigilant about the time. Now, talking about the rebuttal round, let me tell you, there will be a rebuttal round after each speaker finishes his or her speech, and one speaker among the participants only. Let me clear what it's once again. One speaker among the participants only will be allowed to ask questions, and the speaker will get approximately 1 minute to answer. And with that, we begin the debate. I hope everybody is ready. So the battle starts now. We have the first speaker, Aditya Pandey of 12A, for the motion. And I repeat, the topic, this House believes that social media should be banned during a pandemic. The first speaker, Aditya Pandey of 12A, for the motion.
Good morning to one and all present here. Our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi said, in such times, humors circulate very rapidly. Some say, do not eat this, do not do that. Some people will bring in new things such as to eat this to keep coronavirus away. It's my earnest request to all my fellow countrymen, kindly keep away from these kinds of humor. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the Director General of World Health Organization, WHO, noted that urgent measures must now be taken to address the coronavirus infodemic. Infodemic compromises of outbreak response and increases public confusion about who and what information sources to trust generates fear and panic due to unverified rumors and exaggerated claims. Fake news creates fear and panic among the common people. And the fear stands for false evidence appearing real. Humors can travel more faster and quickly than before just because of excessive use of social media today. According to the report, it says that the repeated exposure to the media coverage of COVID-19 has increased the mental stress level. Humors are one of the biggest form of misinformation. In China, a humor spread that bioweapons research in the Wuhan lab resulted in the genetic engineering of COVID-19 that was then released. Such humors have even worsened the working relationship between the Western scientists and the Chinese counterparts searching for a COVID-19 vaccine. Social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, they act as a facilitators and the multipliers of the COVID-19 related misinformation. But the noise they make is significant as they spread bad information, making it difficult to determine the fact from falsehood, causing public confusion. This is the noise of social media. Untrue, exaggerated, and vivacious medical claims are other common forms of misinformation. The digital divide, which is falls along the existing lines of the social economic inequality. There's lot of trouble for the poor who can't afford such digital devices and internet. According to the report, it says that around 32% of the Indian population are unable to utilize the internet. School leaders should understand that all cannot afford such digital devices. They should support families in accessing digital technology that can help them stay connected, help students with remote learning by offering clear instruction and offline resources for facilitating learning at home. While we all talk about right to education, is this we all are doing? Cybercrime has increased manfully. During this pandemic, it is just easier to hack a remote user than someone sitting inside the corporate environment. Even the world's biggest phone manufacturer, Apple CEO, says that it's most beautiful, easy to use, and hard to give up. So, what will be the effects after this post pandemic? One should think and ponder about it. I would like to end by a few words by Ronald Dahl. It rottens the sense in the head, it fills the imagination dead. It clogs and clutters of the mind. It makes a child so dull and blind, he can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. And before I go for the rebuttal round, I would like to beg your pardon. We have our MC, Shonali ma'am. Let me tell you that it is being completely conducted on a digital platform. So there may be some technical glitch. And so in that case, kindly bear with us. And if required, I may have to allow the speaker to repeat their speech. Shonali ma'am, I beg your pardon, please just say something about the debate and then we'll proceed.
Thank you, sir. The outbreak of coronavirus disease has created a global health crisis that has had a deep impact on the way we perceive our world and our everyday lives. We are all trapped in the midst of these newly trending words like quarantine, lockdown, and social distancing. We are refrained from doing what is inherently human, which is to find solace in the company of others. Within this context of physical threat, social and physical distancing, what has been the role of social media in our lives? Now, we all know that social media has been recognized as a powerful force in shaping how we think and what we experience, be it a social or a political issue or a pandemic like COVID-19. When the whole world today is trying to cope with the pandemic, the commonly asked questions are social media still able to convey a sense of unity reaching large number of people? Are messages lost in the noisy crowd of mass self-communication? Do social media provide solace or grounds for misinformation? Keeping all these questions in mind, the English department of MC Kejriwal Vidyapit has organized this unique online exhibition debate on the motion social media should be banned during a pandemic. The event is said to be unique. As we all know, the school for the first time has organized a debate where the debaters would be the teachers of our English department and the students from our senior school. The whole idea behind having this debate is to come together, collaborate, and create a plethora of cogent discourse on a topic that is particularly relevant in today's world, and also with the hope that the questions regarding the role of social media will be answered. So I would like to hand over the mic to Vishwajit sir so that he could carry on with the day's proceedings. Vishwajit sir, please.
Thank you, Sonali ma'am. So we had the first speaker, Aditya Pandey, speaking for the motion. So now for the rebuttal round, may I have anybody to ask a question from the participant? Amrita ma'am, who is there?
So now, till now, no hands. Let me just wait.
Ansarora is there to ask
Yes,
questions.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ansh, please ask your questions to Aditya Pandey.
Yes, Ansh.
Yes, first of all, good morning, everyone. So my question for Aditya was that you were telling that the social media or WhatsApp or any other platform that acts like a multiplier in fake news. So don't you think in a pandemic or any other situation where the world are where they are isolated at their homes, it is the only time when we connect to each other and keep ourselves aware of it? Doesn't it act as a platform
Okay, all right. Ansh, Aditya, have you understood the questions of Ansh?
Yes.
Ansh wants to know basically that don't you think in this pandemic situations we need to be in touch with each other? So what is your answer to that?
According to me, his question was actually like to remain connected as well as to get the information about this pandemic. So according to me, in this world, except social media, there's various platforms, there's newspaper, there's television, where we can get the news. And we have seen throughout this lockdown in India, fake news were transferred as a wildfire. And what has happened in Mumbai, in Bandra station, after lockdown 2, we are all audience to that. Means the amount of fake news is. So to check, to limit the fake news is, cybercrime, cyberbullying, I think social media should be banned. Just to remain connected, you don't ban social media, but you are playing with the feelings of the poor people. Spreading the fake news is different.
Okay, thank you, Aditya. I think you have been successful to justify. So perhaps you mean to say that journalists and reporters, they have to spend a lot of time and energy rather to gather news, and sometimes they risk their lives as well. And whereas on the social media, we don't have such things. So you prefer television, print media, right? So that was Aditya Pandey, 12A for the motion. Now we have the next speaker speaking against the motion, Ankita Singh ma'am. Ankita Singh ma'am, your time starts now.
Thank you, Vishwajit sir, for introducing me to the House. During the 1918 flu pandemic, which the CDC, that is Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, estimates infected 1/3 of the world's population, people did not have the same sources of communication we now have in the 21st century to quickly share news and information. Critical information regarding the virus was primarily shared via postal workers, Boy Scouts, and teachers. Can you imagine having learned about COVID-19 from a Boy Scout knocking on your door, encouraging you to wash your hands? Well, I can. I'm sure I would have been rolling on the floor laughing while my immature younger cousins would have been keen on roughing him up a little, just for trying to pull this prank on us. Good morning, everyone. The proposition we're debating this morning is social media should be banned during a pandemic. I hate to state the obvious, but we are doing this debate over a Zoom webinar, the meeting ID and password to which were shared with my worthy opponents over another social media platform, WhatsApp, I believe. I'm sure the irony of the situation is not lost on all of you. My side of the house definitely has no confidence in the motion, and quickly but thoroughly we look to obliterate our opponent's line of defense and win them over to our side. Nobody can deny that in the face of COVID-19, social media is a great way for individuals to stay connected even while physically separated. Social media platforms have played a crucial role in disseminating news about the spread of COVID-19. We have information available at our fingertips, information that has helped to keep us safe, provided us with a better understanding of what is occurring and how it might impact us and those we love. No platform is perfect, but social media has proved to be a powerful way to bring positivity to a very scary time. The ability to share experiences with family and friends helps to combat both literal and emotional isolation, while also reminding us that we are all in this together. Lockdown has presented challenges to people all over the world, but time indoors has also galvanized the creative juices of many. While the Chelsea players have been using their platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to document how they are staying active at home, many others have been focused on inspiring fits of laughter. There have been plenty of brilliant and fun offerings. People have been performing elaborate dance routines and dressing up to take part in various social media challenges. From rustling up Dalgona coffee to using blankets or pillows available at home to make an outfit for themselves. The gesture challenge, remember the gesture challenge in which a person has to imitate set of emoji gestures to the tunes of fast-paced background music. These spurt of homemade videos are keeping people busy, healthy, happy, and connected with their loved ones across the globe. It is no wonder people are turning to social media to fend off isolation blues. Personally, my yoga was a little rusty before the lockdown. Thanks to the various yoga videos posted by experts, I've been able to up my yoga game just a few notches. On a more serious note, the social media platforms have been vitally important for businesses, particularly small ones and the self-employed, to continue working and survive, or at least continue to offer some sort of service and stay relevant to their customers or clients. Apps like Skype, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams have enabled many of us to continue working from home almost seamlessly, therefore enabling our employers to continue to operate, securing our jobs and helping to support our economy. Communities wouldn't have stayed connected and more vulnerable people would have suffered. I think we have a lot to thank social media for. And I will go against Aditya, and I think it was very short-sighted of him just to say that social media only multiplies misinformation. Social media also multiplies information. It is empowering, and it has everything going for it. So long live social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankita ma'am. I think all of us will agree now that the battle has taken its pace, isn't it? And I would like to request all of you, since on a general platform we are there always to clap for the speakers. Let us always clap for each of the speakers. At least show your hands and clap for the speakers so that we can see it, at least that all of us are into the debate and enjoying every beat of it, isn't it? So please do clap for all the speakers. Now for the rebuttal round, who is there? Is Katika ma'am is raising her hand. Katika ma'am, Katika Dasgupta ma'am. Amrita ma'am, can you please unmute Katika ma'am for the questions?
Katika ma'am, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Amrita ma'am. Thank you, sir, and good morning, everyone. My question to Ankita ma'am is that, very good, well said, Ankita ma'am. But the question is that the very fact that we are having the social media platform, using it for having the debate itself, shows that there is a need for this kind of a debate arising, because social media has this dangerous side as well. Had the dangerous side not been there, the debate wouldn't have arisen at all, the need wouldn't have arisen at all. And if we just ban social media, there wouldn't have been any need for the debate at all, be it on the Zoom webinar. We wouldn't have cared for it, because social media is not there at all for us to talk about it. And secondly, I would like to also say that you're talking of employment, you're talking of online work, but what about the lowest strata of society? What about they who don't have any online connection? They are the worst sufferers. They don't have online, be it online, offline, they are losing their jobs anyway during a pandemic. So that's not a solution. And they are the worst sufferers of any society, whatever. They don't have the money at the bank, to store up to use during the lockdown period, unlike the middle income group and the higher income group who are still working on online. So what about them?
Yeah, Ankita ma'am, I hope you have received the questions. Now please shoot your answer.
Yes, Katika ma'am, I think I was very clear about what I said. Here we are discussing not the existence of social media, but we are discussing whether social media should be banned. Now, if the first point, the first question which you raised, I don't think we are debating over the existence of social media. It's, it has been there now for some time, and love and support of everyone. Yes, it has received the love and support of everyone across the globe. Secondly, as far as unemployment goes, isn't it better that instead of all of us being unemployed at the same time, some of us are still there, a vast majority still there who are able to secure their employment. And for people who are unable, if at all online activity, and if you're talking about online employment, I think the people you are talking about, probably they were not entirely dependent on online resources to continue to keep up with their employment.
Okay, thank you, Ankita ma'am. You have tried your best to justify. I think to sum up your speech, you just wanted to say during the times of an epidemic, social media really help us keep in touch with our dear ones. And instant messaging is used by all of us to, somehow to be in touch with our dear and near ones, right? So with that, we have the speaker, Ankita Singh ma'am, against the motion. Please, all of you clap for both the speakers, Aditya Pandey and Ankita ma'am. And now we have the next speaker against the motion, Ansh Arora of class 12B. Ansh Arora, your time starts now. Ansh.
Yes. Okay. First of all, a very good morning to our respected chairman, sir, Mr. Kishan Kumar Kejriwal ji, CEO, sir, Headmistress ma'am, Mrs. Malika Mukherjee, chairperson, sir, Mr. Bishri Majumdar, fellow worthy opponents, loving teachers, and all present here to witness this online exhibition debate. The motion for today's debate is social media should be banned during a pandemic, and I am going to speak against the motion. A pandemic is an epidemic of an infectious disease spread over a mass area. For instance, many continents or worldwide, novel coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak cases have been confirmed in many countries. On 11th March 2020, the World Health Organization confirmed COVID-19 to be a pandemic. I firmly believe that social media should not be banned during a pandemic. Social media is a platform not just for entertainment of people, rather, it creates an impact on the life of people. It engages, enlightens, and encourages people. It is our window to the entire world. In such a situation where the world is going through, where COVID-19 has laid its icy hands on the world's population, social media has a huge role to play. And I believe, in fact, it is doing so. We are receiving everyday information and are keeping ourselves updated about the situation going around the world and are acting according to the information received. Guidelines for keeping ourselves and our near and dear ones safe is being provided to us. Guidelines like wash your hands, remain indoors, wear a mask if you have to go outside, and definitely after returning, sanitize yourself. While social distancing are the key terms in today's world, we are remaining connected to each other through social media. Online classes, especially online classes, which are being conducted by schools, so that the student not lag behind. Online tests are being conducted so as to assess how far the student has learned or grasped the knowledge imparted. In addition to it, a very good example is YouTube, which has proven to be a very beneficial platform where students can refer to the study material for free absolutely. In such a situation, I prefer not, it is not highly advisable to buy newspapers from the hawkers or somebody outside to deliver it to our home. Generally, we can wash anything we buy from outside, but newspapers cannot be sanitized before they can be read. So social media enable us to read our newspapers electronically, thereby avoiding the spread of the contamination or the pandemic. It's human psychology to be working majority of our times, but due to the outbreak, many of us are isolated in our homes. So social media provides us the opportunity to spend our time through socializing and prevent boredom. In addition, this is a great advantage to the medical and health communication sectors. Doctors need not be visited and can be consulted through social media about chronic diseases. A very good example is also through Arogya Setu app of the government of India. We can donate money to the Prime Minister Cares Relief Fund in so many easy ways online. We can also donate money to the West Bengal Relief Fund to help the needy with food and financial support, which is actually the need of the hour. In addition to it, it tells us the condition of the area we are at the moment and informs us whether it's a green, orange, or red zone. The three pillars of democracy are legislature, judiciary, and executive. Social media happens to be the fourth pillar of the democracy. It provides us the platform to voice our opinions, support, and criticize, and express solidarity even in a pandemic. Hence, I would like to conclude my speech by saying that social media is indispensable in a pandemic. When the whole world seems to have come to a standstill, social media breathes life in our very existence. Social media scatters from an extinguished spark, ashes, and spark, my words among the people. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience.
Okay, thank you, Anj. Thank you for your speech. Now you have to face the rebuttal round. Whom do you have for asking questions? Who is there? Amrita ma'am?
So we have Pratik, we have Aditya and Ishani ma'am, three of them raising their hands.
Okay, let me give chance to Pratik Jhunjhunwala. Pratik, please ask your questions.
Thank you, Ansh.
Pratik,
Go ahead. Pratik, go ahead.
Thank you, Ansh. Ansh, you in your speech.
Pratik, can you please come near the speaker? You're not audible clearly.
So is it audible now?
Yeah, it's better now. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Ansh. In your speech, you said social media helps us to come up with boredom. Don't you think this lockdown is helping us to come more close to our family? It's giving us a precious and quality time with our family, so we can easily fight with boredom by spending time with the family.
Absolutely. Social media.
Anj, just allow him to finish his questions, then we'll go ahead, okay? Yes, Pratik.
Everyone has this problem in their life, throughout the life, that they don't get the quality time with their family. They're not allowed to spend time with their family due to some works, but we are getting this opportunity. So don't you think that the question of boredom doesn't arise only? In fact, social media is acting as a bar between our family and us.
Yeah, fair enough, Pratik. Ansh, I hope you have understood his questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, I have understood.
Yeah, please answer.
In fact, without a pandemic, especially we are right now in a pandemic and all are we isolated in our homes. Even when it was not a pandemic, people used to still use social media. And even in a pandemic, we are, as you said, we should spend our time with families, and we should spend our time with families. But social media is also a very essential part of our society. We actually need to socialize people. Our relatives don't live in our home. We need to talk to everyone, right? So social media helps us to talk to our relatives and connect it to each other where we cannot connect to each other physically, right? So.
Okay, so Ansh means to say that you have to socialize with the help of social media, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ansh. You have been successful enough to put forward your points. And before we move ahead, I would like to ask the wonderful audience, please listen to each and every word and the points of the speakers very, very carefully, for the simple reason you have to actually take this debate to a logical conclusion. And for doing that, we will put the motion to vote at the end of the debate. So I will ask the entire audience to listen to each and every word and the speaker very, very carefully, because at the end of the debate, we have to take the debate to a logical conclusion by putting it to vote. So you have to cast your vote here actually. And so be careful about that. And moreover, I may ask one or two of you to share your opinion at the end of the debate. So for that, please be ready. Now we move ahead. We have the next speaker, Kathika Dasgupta ma'am, speaking for the motion. Kathika ma'am, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. For the last 8 to 10 years, we have seen an exponential growth in the fake news in social media. And this is a curse negative part of technology. Now, what happens? Fake news is always creating problem in our life. It never makes our life smooth. It disturbs our life. And during a pandemic, it is no less harmful than the disease itself. Why? I'll tell you. Number one, during pandemic, we need mental peace. We are not getting that because of the fake news and a horrible piece of news. One fine morning, I get up and see in my mobile. Secondly, we are already in a panic-stricken state because we are combating with a harmful disease and we don't know anything about it initially. Nobody has any clue how to deal with it. So already in a panic-stricken state of mind, you are getting a horrible piece of news, a fake information, a horrible picture, which has no connection with it, with the pandemic maybe, something of the past, some movie clippings, something of, some remote things combined together in the mobile, and you are getting disturbed by it. So this is what is happening. you are basically, who is doing it? It's me and you who are doing it. And why we are doing it, being so educated, being so literate, why we are doing, passing wrong information. The main reason is that we are too much addicted by social media. Our life is totally engulfed by social media. We have a typical tendency of, getting every information without checking the validity of it, the truth of it. We just, authenticity of it, we just pass it. Why do we do that? Number one, we do it because we want to grab attention, because we want to be the first one to give a sensational news to the group. Number two, we don't have biomedical expertise to check the facts. Number three, we don't, the material looks so authentic that we don't see the need of checking it. Now, what happened? We this way fall in the hands of social engineering. Criminal minds are creating these wrong news, content, purposely to disturb society, especially during a pandemic and a crisis. We need to stop this. So I strongly, strongly agree to this, that social media should be banned during a pandemic, just to give us some mental peace and fight the disease. If you want information, you have the newspaper. If you want information, you have the TV channels, where experts, virologists, scientists are talking, authentically talking. You don't have to check the facts there. You don't have to waste your time there. What we are doing, we are basically transmitting sweets dipped in poison during a festival without knowing that I'm giving everybody sweet dipped in poison to make them die. So right now we are going through COVID-19 pandemic. I'll give you a few examples of misinformation passed by us. Number one, as my team member has said, it's a genetically engineered virus. It's not so. It's a man-made virus. You can check your facts right. Then the vaccine, it's going to come out in 12 to 18 months. No, it'll take 3 to 4 years another time to have the vaccine. Positivity is good, but not wrong positivity. Hydroxychloroquine, the drug, if you self-medicate on it, it can lead to heart failure and can kill you. Then about this, how many gallons of warm water me and you must have gulped down reading the information that warm water intake will kill the virus, which stays in the throat for 4 days. It's totally, totally fake. The kind of water we need is above 65 degree in temperature. So it cannot kill the virus. Now, all these things and the blame game that is going on, the society is full of blame games. Is it the time to put blame game on society? Blaming the government, blaming everybody? No. Every cloud is a silver lining. Please stay at home. Take out a book that has gathered dust. Talk to your people, which you can't do during the rat race time. Take out the carom board lurking in the corner, play with your friends. Play with the family, and call up your family and friends and ask how they are. Don't have to pass a horrific message to them to know about your existence. Another thing I would like to tell you, that we are sacrificing so much during a lockdown, social distancing and all that. Can't we do a little more sacrifice by maintaining social distancing from social media? I think we all can. And everybody here present in this house, present here would confirm, if they have moral social responsibility and a heart full of compassion, agree with me, social media should be banned during a pandemic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kritika ma'am. Your speech has actually rejuvenated all of us. And in a lighter tone, I would like to tell you, ma'am, you were talking about coronavirus. I was just checking the participants list. There I saw coronavirus, and immediately I removed coronavirus from the participant list. Just imagine, coronavirus is not leaving us today in this morning as well. In the participant list, coronavirus is entering. Fair enough. So, Kritika ma'am, you have to defend. Yeah, you have to defend yourself now. We have somebody to ask questions in the rebuttal round. So who's there, Amrita ma'am?
Yes.
Who's there, Amrita ma'am? Just a moment. Okay, Ankita ma'am, can you please ask the questions? Amrita ma'am, can you please unmute Ankita Singh ma'am? Okay, Amrita ma'am, are you there? Okay. I'll for any kind of technical glitch, I think ma'am is not there. I'll unmute Ankita ma'am. Ankita ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kritika ma'am, other than the banning bit, I am in agreement with whatever you said, other than the banning bit. But I love the way you formulated, the way you have framed your speech, and to me, it seemed like, oversharing is a problem, fake news is a problem, yes, but didn't you, in your entire speech, didn't you blame people for doing it? I mean, people are sharing fake news, people are oversharing. See, you enumerated certain fake news which is out there in social media. but then you also gave us the correct information. Now, I just wanted to point out that the correct information is also there available in social media. So don't you think this oversharing is not a social media problem, but this oversharing and fake news is a people problem, it's a character flaw? So let's not place this blame at social media's door. Let's place it where it belongs, right back at us, people. And we need to be more informed, and we should make more intelligent choices when it comes to sharing news. How is social media to blame for it?
Okay, Katika ma'am,
Ankita
what
ma'am,
is your answer?
Yes. Yes, I got Ankita ma'am's point, very rightly pointed out. Ankita ma'am, I would like to say that since I already said in my speech, since people have no control, our life is so engulfed by social media, we are so addicted, we just try to press the forward button with anything that we get. So vehicle is the problem. Which is the vehicle? The social media. Individuals can't be controlled. We have no willpower. So let the social media, the vehicle, be stopped so that this problem doesn't arise. To your second question, that correct news comes, definitely correct news do come, but then much later than the wrong news has spread to millions, Ankita ma'am, and the damage has been done to society already. And please let me tell you, psychology says that human psychology, we get tempted towards, sensational news, incorrect news, false news, and we pass it it gets much more further forward than the correct counterpart of it. Correct counterpart never reaches that many number of people because it's science, it's boring, it's factual, it's not interesting and juicy. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Katika ma'am. I hope you have been successful, and audience is keeping a note of all your points. And I'm very happy that the battle has actually taken its absolute culminating point. Right, audience? What you all say? Just show your gestures. I hope you all are enjoying this. Right? Each one of you is, viewing the way they are fighting with each other with the logical points. That's really, really praiseworthy. All right, now we have our next speaker, Chandrabhushan Ray, 12C, speaking against the motion. Amrita,
Chandrabhushan, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chandrabhushan, go ahead.
A very good morning to each and everyone present here. In the face of COVID-19, social media is a great way for individuals and communities to stay together and connected even while being physically separated. With the advent of social media in the 21st century, not only are we learning the latest news update, but we are also keeping our personal and business updates to the people. For businesses, this means leveraging social media to support employees and customers like never before. For the government, it means doing its best to efficiently share factual and up-to-date information with all people. Never had we had more real-time information present on our fingertips in such a worldwide crisis and a lethal pandemic. Such information can keep us safe, providing us with better understanding of what is occurring around us and how we can keep ourselves safe and the one we love. The CDC, WHO, medical journals, and health or care organizations have been updating websites and providing guidances across numerous platforms. But these websites aren't as easy to download and access as the icon downloaded on my home screen. Moreover, Facebook is taking all these things very seriously, and it is fighting misinformation. So I would like to disagree with Katika ma'am and Aditya Pandey as well, because these social media platforms are taking their rules quite seriously. They are fighting misinformation by also encouraging the users and also bringing in partnership with the regional and national authorities as well. Moreover, Facebook is also trying to create an impact in the real world because it has pledged to donate $145 million to the healthcare workers and also small businesses. It has donated 720,000 face masks, which it had in reserve for the wildfire crisis. Moreover, there are other social media platforms as well where they are fighting misinformation as well, and they are trying to spread awareness about this coronavirus disease. Like in TikTok has a streaming live for people with WHO to create awareness that how we can keep safe, we should wash hands and all. Moreover, these social media platforms has helped the educational sector as well. It has brought the parents from saying that my child doesn't study because is hung on the phone the whole day to saying that my child studies because he has phone in his hand and his teachers and friends are sending him notes on his social media accounts. with social media coming into play, the students don't have this excuse that I don't have anything to study in this lockdown situation, because right now in their gallery they don't have memes and comical videos, but they have many videos like the
Hello, Chandrabhushan. Chandrabhushan has been logged out. Amrita ma'am, is he there?
No, sir. He is there, but I think there is some connectivity issue on his side. That is the reason we can't hear him, but he's very much there.
Okay, Chandrabhushan, can you please say something so that we can hear you, your final portions of your speech? Otherwise, I cannot take any question for the rebuttal as well. May I request anyone from Chandrabhushan's side, means against the motion, to complete the speech? May I allow Ankita ma'am to just complete his speech? Amrita
Sure,
ma'am,
sir.
kindly,
Yes, sir. Putting Ankita ma'am on.
Ankita ma'am, if you can kindly complete the remaining portions of Chandrabhushan's speech.
What he was trying to say, I think, is that social media on its own is definitely fighting COVID-19. This was
Okay, Ankita ma'am, you just finish your, just sum it up. What
that was a bell for the 3rd minute. Okay.
Okay.
While
fine.
we stopped, I had freezed his time. Okay.
Right. Fine.
Okay,
Just
okay.
sum it up.
Okay, in partnership with WHO, UNICEF, and UNDP, the Facebook-owned messaging app launched the coronavirus information hub. And WhatsApp also, WHO has also launched a chatbot on WhatsApp to warn people about the coronavirus dangers. So each platform is taking great responsibility for their communities of millions, or in some cases billions, of people globally, and looking for creative solutions to stop misinformation, raise awareness, and help people adapt to the new normal. So I think this is what Chandrabhushan was trying to.
Right. Thank you, Ankita ma'am. Like, is Chandrabhushan there? Amrita ma'am, can you see him there?
Chandrabhushan is here, sir. I am unmuting him so that if he has something to say. Chandrabhushan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Chandrabhushan,
Yes.
your last portion could not be heard, so I just requested Ankita ma'am to complete that. So are you ready for taking a question in the rebuttal round, Chandrabhushan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So who is there?
We have Aditya Pandey raising his hand.
Aditya Pandey. Right. Aditya, go ahead.
First of all,
Aditya, you are unmuted.
First of all, Chandrabhushan, I just wanted to ask, you talked about the social media platforms. Social media platform gives you guidelines and not to spread fake news, but it can't stop you from forwarding these type of messages. Secondly, you talked about the online classes. In Kerala, it's actually a state of India only. In Kerala, from 8:30 to 5:30, there's education being provided through TV channels. If Kerala can do it, why can't we? Other states can't do this. Means online classes can be taken place in television channels also. Why do we need online session like, as you said?
Okay, Chandrabhushan, have you understood his questions?
I understood Aditya's question. He has made the right point. But firstly, I would like to say, Aditya, that Facebook has also encouraged his users to flag those suspicious posts or the fake news. So Facebook is also trying to prevent these fake news. Secondly, you talked about Kerala having online classes on television. So right now, I would like to point this out that today, in the hands of the youth, we mostly have the mobile phones. We don't have television. They are not stuck on the television. Like Ankita ma'am has rightly said in her speech that we have mobile phones in our hands. And about the fake news, she also is mentioned, and I would like to agree with her, that it's about the people. Is the fault of the people that they are spreading fake news, not the fault of the social media itself.
Okay, thank you, Chandrabhushan. Audience, I would like to just inform you that my chat box is getting flooded with lots of requests from the side of the audience. They want to ask questions, and they're writing wonderful comments over here. I would like to share some of them. Some of them are saying that the speakers have gone on fire. It has taken its space, and people are writing it, and really, people are enjoying it. Thank you for being the best audience. And at the same time, I would like to inform the audience that I'm sorry I cannot take your questions for the rebuttal round. This is exclusively for the participants. All right. So moving ahead, we have the next speaker for the motion, Ishani Sengupta ma'am. Ishani Sengupta ma'am.
Shall I go ahead, sir?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everybody present here in the house. Da dolce far niente is an Italian concept of the bliss or the sweetness of doing nothing. Had the Italians followed their own concept, most probably the COVID would have put state in their country as well. How is this relevant to today's topic? Social media, of course. Even during normal times, social media puts a lot of pressure on our lives and minds. Now that we are faced with a pandemic, we are left with a lot of hand, of which people spend a lot of time on surfing the net. Now, how is it a problem? You are online, you are seeing, your friends, your relatives, the people trying out all their culinary, skills, wrapping up or, doing wonderful stuff or whisking up that Dalgona coffee, as Ankita ma'am mentioned, and you feel that you're not productive enough. You have not amped up your yoga game. So what do? You start feeling unproductive, right? And you try doing everything that you're not usually used to do. My God, it's a pandemic. You're allowed to feel like a panda. Panda is anyway one of the most underrated animals in the history of animal kingdom. You're not supposed to do anything. You want to do something, do it for yourself because you want to do it. Not because your friends are doing it. Read that book. Don't read that book. Cook. Don't cook. Lay on the bed. Doesn't matter. Everybody talks about social distancing. Everybody talks about physical distancing. What about the mental health? Nobody talks about that. So you do what you want to do, what makes you feel good. If nothing doing makes you feel good, please go ahead and do it. Just taking what my team has already said about the misinformation, I want to talk about the disinformation. It's a phenomenon by which you spread rumors and you taint somebody else's image. For example, when the lockdown happened, apparently the Russian president, Mr. Putin, had left lions on the road to eat up people who do not follow the lockdown. Well, since we are facing a lot of problem with animal conservation, I'm sure Mr. Putin would love to chip in. One of the speakers also spoke about being multipliers. Why is it a multiplier, not a multiplier? It's a facilitator. The social media is not a facilitator. When you have a million of posts shared by millions and millions of people, you tend to believe it. For example, a post went around saying that dogs and cats are carriers of this coronavirus, COVID-19. Do you know how many thousands of animals were left abandoned on the road? Now, what do you tell that? You're telling that social media is not dependent on people. Social media is by itself. Social media is called a social media. So if you don't have people, you don't have a social media. You can't simply, just say, oh, people have to use their good sense. People don't have the sense. That is the entire problem. So this social media, in place of this pandemic, has given rise to unprecedented social misunderstanding, if I might say, and social media has acted as a facilitator and multipliers of COVID-19 infodemic. During a pandemic like this, like the opponents that I have, are so cocooned in their media echo chamber that they not only lose their peace of mind and feed faulty information to the audience, but they anticipate, as my opponents are, counter arguments that may encounter from outsiders such as us who are speaking for the motion. In a trying time like this, where we are looking for clarity, peace of mind, a little bit of faith maybe, it is imperative that we practice social media detoxification. The need for the day is solidarity and collaboration, which are the key to saving our health. So I believe the social media is a pathological factor of pandemic response. And I would love to end my speech by saying this, very, very enlightening, be a panda. It's going to save lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishani ma'am. And as you are delivering your speech, let me tell you, I'm getting a lot of messages here on chat box. And one of them is written by our school captain, former school captain, Sanskar. Sanskar is writing that be a panda during pandemic, that's just the best thing to tell the youth.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sanskar, thank you for that comment. All right, now, Ishani ma'am, is there anybody to fight against Ishani ma'am? Please come.
We just have Ankita ma'am with us.
Ankita ma'am, okay, fine. Ankita ma'am, go ahead.
So Ishani ma'am, am I audible
yes,
to you?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Ishani ma'am, when you talked about staying mentally, maintaining our mental sanity, when you talked about to read a book, don't read a book, So obviously you also talked about freedom of choice. You talked about freedom of expression. So I love you for that. My vote goes to you for that because that's what I have been championing, trying to champion here. Freedom of choice, freedom of expression, yes. So why curb, my freedom of expression, my freedom of choice? I'm yet to come across Instagram condition that if you don't post a picture of your meal, of your lunch or dinner, you will not be able to log in. So that's a choice I'm making. I want to do yoga, I'm doing. You don't want to do yoga, you don't do it. So I log into social media, you don't log in. Why are you constantly asking us to ban it during a pandemic? How does
Okay,
that
Ankita ma'am, Ankita ma'am suggests Ishani ma'am not to ban social media. Ishani ma'am, what do you say?
Yes, sure, sir. Since we are living in a time which is a little ruled over by the social media, we can't help but feel the effects of it. Now, if you're talking about the choices or the freedom of choices, it is often dictated by the social media and what people are doing on social media. If I am making that choice, I want to make it on my own without the social media pressure. And yes, again, as I said, we are depending too much on human discretion, something which we are lacking. So yes, social media needs to be banned if you make your own choices, whether it is negative or positive. Thank you.
Very interesting, very interesting debate going on here. Now we have, thank you, Shani ma'am, thank you, Ankita ma'am. And now we
Thank
have.
you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for the question.
Yeah, right. Now we have for the motion, second last speaker, Pratik Jhunjhunwala of class 12D. Pratik, go ahead.
So am I audible?
Yeah, very much.
A very good morning to one and all present here. Journalists and reporters have to spend a lot of time and energy to gather news. Sometimes they risk their lives, visit places, and talk to relevant experts in the field to present news in the traditional media. They have to abide by several rules and regulations of the government before printing or broadcasting anything. If there is a mistake committed in the traditional media, the organization is liable to be punished. But anyone and everyone can spread any opinion or propaganda on social media. It is a free for all media, ideal for spreading misleading information. Rightly said, falsehood flies and truth comes limping behind. With social media becoming a hub of hearsay, it is inevitable that people use caution and discretion instead of being blinded by rumors, especially during the times of pandemic. In order to garner attention, people tend to send anything and everything without the verification. The well-manufactured and concocted lies spread with a one tap on the forward button and it is attractive enough to capture the attention of the people. This makes it difficult for the government to maintain peace and create a sense of security among the citizens. For example, recently WhatsApp has also released an advertisement which focuses on the matter of fake forwards. It pleads to its users not to forward whatever they receive without knowing the transparency of the news, as it may be fake and it may affect the recipient's lifestyle, mental state, etc. Most news spread by social media is not authenticated or cross-checked properly. Had there been no social media, the problem of COVID-19 infodemic would have never been there. The information is often unscientific and is usually a propaganda by some hidden organization. Such news can affect the gullible minds of people during an epidemic. Also, the rampant spread of memes and jokes via social media trivializes the situation at a time when people need to unite together to combat the virulent COVID-19. Recently, there was a news that the Chief Minister of West Bengal has ordered the schools and colleges to be closed till 31st July 2020, but later on we found that Kolkata police has made the correction. The news of the schools and colleges being shut down till 31st July 2020 is a fake one. It has been shown on a private news channel and publicized using a social media. Social media helps spread rumors and fake news like wildfire, creating a lot of confusion and panic in our mind. This is especially true at the times of crisis, such as the pandemic. Sometimes memes based on current happenings hurt people's sentiments, values, and faith. Thus, during a pandemic and in the times of crisis, social media shall be banned as instead of cheering up people and acting as a recreational activity for the people, it acts as a platform to spread rumors. People use their idle time during this lockdown to express their views and thoughts as scenarios, happenings in the world which are just their thinking, but it keeps on getting forwarded and soon becomes a sensational forward of all time, which has nothing to do but create panic and distress among people. Some people would be wondering about online working, which takes place through social media. For them, I would like to remind them that a huge part of the population of our country is still illiterate. Thus, online work can't be accommodated in their daily lifestyle. Even if we think that online work is a good thing, then why is the unemployment graph is on a continuous increase, even in USA? Finally, I would like to conclude by quoting that due to social media, a brand is not what it tells to the consumer, but what consumers tells to each other. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pratik. Can we have somebody from the participants to ask the questions? Who's there?
Sir, we have Shangomitra ma'am. I am unmuting her.
Yeah, Shangomitra ma'am, please go ahead with your questions.
Yes, thank you, sir. I have a question. Like you said in your speech, that COVID-19 would not have been there had there been no.
Ma'am, we could not hear you.
So, ma'am is muted.
Amrita ma'am, Shangomitra ma'am is muted. Hello.
Yes,
ma'am.
sir. Just a second.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
My question is, if that had been the case, are you blaming the social media for the spread of this pandemic, or is it poor governance or the lack of tools and machinery being used by the government to protect the people? And what about the Spanish flu that took place in 1918 when there was no social media?
Ma'am, I would like to correct you that in my speech, I said that had there been no social media, the COVID-19 infodemic would have not occurred.
Okay. Pratik,
Yes,
can you
but
please?
then,
yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
But then, sir, my question is, even when the Spanish flu occurred in 1918, there was no social media.
Yeah, Pratik, just answer these questions.
Yes, ma'am. When the Spanish flu occurred, there was no social media. So there was no spreading of fake news to this extent which we are having this COVID-19. After every minute, we are getting our notifications on phone with different ways to fight with COVID-19 which aren't true. And we are getting fake forwards of the cases which are not actually occurring. People are making their thoughts and beliefs as a real happenings.
Okay, thank you, Pratik. Thank you, Shangomitra ma'am. I think what Pratik wanted to highlight in his speech is that even in during this crisis, some kinds of memes based on current happenings hurt people's sentiments as well as the values. Perhaps that was his point, and you have been successful enough to do that. Now we have almost come to the end of our debate. We have the last speaker against the motion, Shangomitra Pal ma'am.
Good morning to one and all present. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, thank you so much. I think at this fag end of the debate, what we are trying to highlight is misinformation versus correct information and the right information. Now, many of my worthy opponents were trying to establish the fact that the social media should be banned during a pandemic because it spreads misinformation. Now, my question to all of them is, what about your right of choice? What about your freedom of choice? Isn't this one of the word ban or censorship, isn't it one of the most regressive act of a progressive democracy? India being the largest democracy in the world, should it rely on something like ban? What is going on in Kashmir where the people are without their internet services? Is the social media, or for that matter, internet services being banned by the seat of power when they feel threatened? Why is social media banned in China? Is it because that they do not want another Tiananmen Square happening, or democracy knocking on their door? Because they know that even if there is one further student uprising and they again need to have the battle tanks being called on the streets of Tiananmen Square, they can't afford to do that. They have banned social media. But unfortunately, there's an irony over there.
Yes, ma'am.
About that?
Are you there?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
there was a call. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm resuming it.
Right.
Yes. So do the seat of power feel threatened? What about in North Korea? And I was talking about, the social media being banned in China by the installation of the Great Firewall. But the irony is that people can install VPN and still get through the Great Firewall protection. This is a seat even. Why only talk about in the world affairs? Look at our own India in the 1980s when Indira Gandhi imposed emergency. She was heavily criticized because the entire media, be the print media and the electronic media, was brought under state control. Here, banning and censorship is something that is extremely regressive. Talk about banning as I was telling, whenever a seat of power or whenever people feel threatened, then only the question of ban or censorship comes into it. Because did Ayatollah Khomeini felt threatened, or the Muslim fundamentalist felt threatened when they banned satanic verses of Salman Rushdie, or the Bangladesh government or the Bangladesh people, where the patriarchal society of the Bangladesh people felt threatened when they banned Lodja, that is by Taslima Nasreen. Also, many of my fellow who are speaking against the motion have said that the social media are taking up their responsibility. And to let me tell you one, even the tweet of Mr. Donald Trump was flagged by Twitter itself when he has said that the mail-in ballots can be substantially fraudulent. Twitter added a link to it where it said, get the facts about mail-in ballots correct. So it's not that the social media is not taking appropriate measures. Let me another point take you. Is this misinformation leading to the spread? How much of this misinformation is playing on the psyche of the common man? There, according to the survey conducted by the Internet and Mobile Association of India, only 2.7 minded people, only 2.7 of Indians actually get this misinformation there in their mindset and depends. Rather, I'm happy to say, even in spite of the fact that the light of education hasn't reached the masses, 39.6% of Indians still believe on background evidences to believe of certain information. So therefore, and social media, we're talking about digital literacy. At the same time, the impact that the social media has, the powerful impact, we can see it, how the visual impact influences the mind of the people, be it the killing of an elephant, of a pregnant elephant in Kerala, or the Brazilian rainforest fire. So all these
thank you, Sanghamitra ma'am.
Information doesn't hold true. Thank you so much.
Yeah, your time is over. Thank you very much for putting forward your logical reasons. Now see, Kathika ma'am is there to attack you, Sanghamitra ma'am. Be ready. Kathika ma'am, your questions.
Yes, it's not an attack at all. Sanghamitra ma'am said very nicely. It's just a friendly question. Sanghamitra ma'am, if I'm not mistaken, entire speech, almost 80% of your speech, actually were talking about the banning of social media in context of politics, in context of political news, or politics or political gains and all those things. But we are here debating not on political side of the scenario. We are debating on the pandemic. Social media, we are never saying social media should be banned for political reasons or forever. But we are saying during a pandemic, it should be banned. What is a pandemic basically? A disease attacking us, a disease, unknown disease is there everywhere for which people have no idea. So during that time, fear, misconception, misinformation definitely adds, lowers our mental health. For physical health, we sacrifice so much. For mental health, can't we sacrifice social media during a pandemic? Again, I'm repeating, Sanghamitra ma'am, it's not about political things that I'm talking. Politics is a different platform. Pandemic is a different platform. So how do you justify that? How do you justify that?
No,
yeah, Sanghamitra ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, I would like to take up Kathika ma'am's point of view here. My question was not about the political part of it. My question was about the various concept of the right of freedom of choice regarding the banning of social media. Today, it is in the name of pandemic. Who knows, tomorrow it might be in the name of something else that the government might use to ban social media. And mind you, the government is also, not only this, the social media platforms are also taking various measures. The Facebook has launched a digital literacy program called Get Digital, so that the misinformation can be cross-checked with fact. Today, the social media platforms have hired people who are known as the fact checkers. They are specially known as fact checkers, and they are there to check the misinformation, to check the facts and figures. On March 16, the Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Twitter issued a statement saying that they had joined forces to combat the misinformation that has been spread during the pandemic. And also I stated that it's only 2.7% of the
okay, Sanghamitra ma'am, thank
India
you.
who believes in this misinformation. They still believe in. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everybody, and nobody is ready to leave anyone. They will definitely fight, and they have been successful to do that. With this, we come to the end of the debate formally. And as I've already told you, that we have to take the debate to a logical conclusion. And before we do that, please, all of you, raise your hands. Please clap for all the speakers. Let us clap for each and every speaker. Such a wonderful speakers we have had today, actually, in this debate. Now, before we go to the logical conclusion and we put the motion to vote, as I've already told you, from the audience, I want some people to share their views. I would request Amrita ma'am to unmute Sanskar Jhajaria, our former school captain, to share his views, because he's been asking me, sir, please make me a part of this debate. Sanskar Jhajaria, we want to see you.
Sure, sir.
Hear you.
Sanskar, I'm trying to unmute you.
Okay, let me just also try at the same time. Sanskar, are you there? Is he there? Yeah, Sanskar is there.
He is there. Yes, he is there.
I've just see Sanskar, are you there? For any kind of reason, we are unable to unmute.
Yes, sir. For some reason, I think we can't unmute him.
Sanskar, just a moment. Let me try once again. Okay, Sanskar, if you are there, please write to me on chat box. I will make you unmute. But before that, is there anybody who wants to share? Please raise your hands.
Yes, sir. We have Divya ma'am who is raising her hand. Yes.
Right.
So let's just try to unmute her.
Right.
For some strange reason, I don't know why. I cannot.
Divya, even I'm unable to unmute. I don't know. Just if you can kindly look into that. We're unable to unmute.
I have Anish Shaw has raised his hand,
Anish,
and he also wrote to us. So I have
Right,
unmuted
Anish.
him. Anish.
Yes, Anish, please share your views.
Hello.
Yes, Anish, go ahead. We can hear you. Anish.
Good afternoon. First of all, it was a great debate. I'm very obliged to be here in such a great Zoom session. First of all, I want to say that both the parties were very excellent in stating their points of view. So I want to conclude by saying that we should understand that there is a thin line between social media and internet. So using the term which is known as banned is very uncommon, but we should restrict it. So we should basically think that Instagram Live and Facebook are nothing but a dopamine rush, which are taking place in our mind, and we are getting addicted to that rush, which are instant, and it will disappear at the very next instant. So we should always try to restrict the social media as much as possible. But on the main other point too, that social media is very important in today's world, so that we can came across to our news, education, and all the things. So we should try this social media detoxing. We can use mobile phones, laptops for some time in the day, and spend rest of the time of our day in detoxing it, or staying with people who we love and care about the most. So we should, at last, I want to say that social media are, and people are not for social media. Thank you.
Okay, Anish, thank you very much for sharing your views. Amrita ma'am, you can take one more speaker to share his or her views. And I will ask the person who comes here to share his or her views, please be on video mode so that you can see how you look actually today. So who's there?
We have quite a few hands up, sir, but I am still struggling here to unmute. Devesh Dubey wants to ask a question or share his opinion. Devesh, you have been unmuted. Please go ahead.
Okay, Devesh, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, Devesh, we can hear you.
Sir, I want to ask a question from Kathika ma'am.
Well, but first of all, our rebuttal round is over. I will suggest you to just share your views.
So my views is that social media should not be banned, because as everyone has said that social media is a key app for passing fake news. So I want to say that social media, from my point of view, is not an app for getting updates about the news.
Okay.
Social media has been founded for contacting people globally.
Right. Okay, got it, Devesh. You got your point. Thank you. And Amrita ma'am, you just Shima ma'am wants to say something. If you can
Sure.
unmute Shima ma'am.
Sure, sir. Trying to unmute Seema ma'am.
And this is the last person to share her views, and then after that we'll go for vote. Yeah, Shima ma'am.
Seema Sharma ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So, first of all, I will express in Hindi, sir.
Okay, no problem, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. मुझे यही कहना है इस वाद विवाद के बाद कि अति हर चीज की बुरी है, दुरुपयोग हर चीज का बुरा है। कोई भी चीज मानवता के विकास के लिए बनाई गई है, समाज को जोड़ने के लिए बनाई गई है, कुछ अच्छा कर दिखाने के लिए बनाई गई है। जैसा कि एक वक्ता ने कहा था, मुझे जहाँ तक याद आ रहा है, चंद्रभूषण ने कहा था कि आज अगर सोशल मीडिया हमारे पास नहीं होता तो हमारे अपने स्टेट में हमारे लिलवा वाले स्कूल की ऑनलाइन क्लासेस नहीं चल पाती। केरल की बात अलग है, वो लोग हम लोगों से बहुत एडवांस हैं, बहुत मेडिकल फील्ड में, दूसरे फील्ड में, लेकिन हम तो अपने राज्य में सरवाइव कर रहे हैं ना। हमारी परिस्थितियां अलग हैं। केवल तूफान के कारण ही हम लोग परेशान हो गए, हमारी कितनी योजनाएं रद्द हो गई। ये डिबेट भी उस समय होनी थी जो आज हुई। तो सोशल मीडिया को पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन में भी हम बैंड कर दे तो हम अच्छे विचारों को संप्रेषित कैसे करेंगे? ये डिबेट नहीं हो पाती अगर सोशल मीडिया नहीं होता। तो दुरुपयोग ना करें, कुछ अच्छा करें और जुड़े रहें, सबको खुश रखें और बुरी स्थिति से लड़कर उभरने की कोशिश करें। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Seema ma'am. You have rightly encapsulated the entire purpose of this debate. And before I go for voting, I would like to just summarize. So it has come on the surface that social media has both pros and cons. You know, it depends how you use it actually, how judiciously you can use it, how cautious you can use it, and there lies the actual use of social media. And please keep all the points in mind before you give your vote. Though it is not a competition, but I have to just follow the protocol. So now I put the motion to vote. Now those who are for the propositions, kindly raise your hands. Those who are on the proposition, kindly raise your hands for a moment. We need to count it. Those who are for the propositions, please raise your hands. I wait for some time. Those who are for the proposition, please raise your hands. I urge everybody to take part in this voting. Okay. Amrita ma'am, are you keeping a track of it?
Absolutely, sir. Till now,
Okay.
13 hands are up.
Okay, please everybody, please kindly raise your hands if you feel that today team proposition is actually the best one. So please raise your hands. Fine. So that's it. Now for the propositions, ma'am, how many votes we have received?
Till now, sir, I have 15 hands up.
15 hands. 15 hands for propositions. Now all of you please unraise your hands because now we will have the voting for the oppositions. So those who are in opposition, please raise your hands.
Oh,
Okay,
quite a
it's
few
going
number
up.
of hands
It's
coming
going
up.
up. It's
Yes.
going up. Right, I can see also here.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, right. 59, 60, 61, 5. All right, it's going ahead. It's moving like anything against the motions. Okay, so for the team opposition, we have Amrita ma'am 67, if I'm
67.
wrong. right?
No,
Exactly.
sir. Absolutely correct. We have 67 hands up.
67 hands for the team opposition. Please let us clap for them. This is just a protocol that we have to maintain. But each one of you has really spoken absolutely perfect. I myself have enjoyed thoroughly every beat of it. Thank you very much, and thank you to the entire team MCKV. Now I hand it over to Amrita ma'am for the next remaining portions of the debate show. Amrita ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. This was such an enriching experience to hear the viewpoint of the different speakers and also the audience on this topic, which is particularly relevant in today's world when we are dealing with the pandemic and all the side effects that comes with it. Now, without much further ado, I would like to request our respected chairman, sir, KK sir, if you can please share a few valuable words with us. Sir, if you would kindly oblige.
Yes, we can hear, sir.
Thank you, Amrita. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I feel greatly honored to be invited to witness this exhibition debate organized by the English Department of MC Kejriwal Vidyapeeth. The topic for today's debate, social media should be banned during a pandemic, is a very relevant and pertinent proposition for a debate in today's world scenario. Having heard the deliberation placed by the speakers, both for and against the proposition, it can be concluded that all the speakers were both logical and conclusive. I put forward some of my personal observations for the same. The speaker's speeches have established the fact that we should be judicious and accountable in using social media, and we must act as a responsible citizen and not be credulous enough to believe anything and everything posted on such platform. We should have a sagacity to decipher right from wrong. My suggestion is that we must be cautious enough not to believe in rumors and not to forward what we think to be fake news. In conclusion, I would like to congratulate all the speakers for their excellent articulation and conviction that they have showcased so wonderfully in this debate. I have thoroughly enjoyed the entire program. Thank you once again. Thank you, Biswajit Majumdar. Thank you, sir. Thank you, entire.
Thank you, sir.
For a wonderful show. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Amrita ma'am, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. I would now like to request our respected Bornali ma'am to present a vote of thanks. Just a second, Bornali ma'am, I will unmute you just now.
Yeah,
Yes,
am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, right.
Indeed, the first word that comes, I'm reminded of and that comes to me is wow, it was really a wonderful show. So a very good afternoon to our revered chairman, sir, Shri Kishan Kumar Kejriwal ji, respected CEO, sir, Mr. Partho Sarathy Chakraborty, respected headmistress, ma'am, Mrs. Malika Mukherjee, our dear HR, ma'am, Aparna, ma'am, worthy participants, our chairperson, sir, Mr. Biswajit Majumdar, my dear colleagues of MCKV and Madhustali Vidyapeeth, and all who have been present here to be a part of this online exhibition debate. I consider it my proud privilege to get this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. That we have been able to brave all odds and meet at a common platform to witness such a wonderful show indeed speaks volumes about how much inspired and motivated we all are. And our greatest source of inspiration is none other than our most valued Honorable Chairman, Sir, Shri Kishan Kumar Kejriwal ji, who has made it possible for us to organize this grand event, which has proved to be a huge success. A big thanks to you, sir. You have always been a guiding star for all of us. I extend my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all the speakers who have come forward and well established their views both for and against the motion of the debate, which says social media should be banned during a pandemic. Indeed, we have become more aware of the pros and cons of the social media during such times of crisis. What wonderful thoughts and views we came across. Truly, you deserve our appreciation and praise for putting up such a splendid performance. My heartfelt thanks to Aparna ma'am, our dear HR, who has helped us in conducting and organizing this program. I extend my thanks to our CEO, Sir, Mr. Partho Sarothi Chakraborty, who has taken out some time from his busy schedule to be a part of this program. My thanks goes to our chairperson, Sir, Mr. Bishwajit Majumdar, and the entire team of the English department that has worked relentlessly to give an excellent form and structure to this grand event. My heartfelt thanks to our technical expert, Mr. Ajay Singh, without whose support this program could not have been possible. Finally, my regards and gratitude to our respected headmistress ma'am, our senior school in charge, coordinators, who are always there beside us to extend their helping hand in any hour of need. We are indebted to all of you, as with your inspirational thoughts, this one of its kind online exhibition debate comprising a plethora of discourse could be organized. Thanks to all of you for your encouragement and for attending the program. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you everybody. Just take rest and think about the points which have been discussed here. Thank you everybody. Bye-bye. Take care.